In ancient Mexico, in a place called the Valley of Mexico, there was a beautiful land with tall mountains and lush scenery. With its meandering rivers and serene lakes, this valley was like a work of natural art. The Aztec Empire, a renowned civilization, emerged in this beautiful environment. They made the most of their environment by designing unique gardens known as chinampas that seemed to float on water. These gardens' abundance of bright plants added to the already lively scenery. The amazing civilization of the Aztecs was well known. Tenochtitlan, their capital city, was constructed on an island inside a huge lake. Tall temples in their city were decorated with intricate sculptures and vibrant murals. Aztec chiefs lived in wealthy homes, demonstrating their status. In Tenochtitlan, busy markets offered various goods, from spices to colorful fabrics. The Aztecs were expert merchants, with various expensive items to trade. Their quest was about to start in the Aztec Empire's realm. The Aztecs established their first colonies in this promising territory with unshakable resolve. They had modest beginnings, but they had limitless aspirations. They constructed their houses and started farming the area, learning the tricks of agriculture to feed themselves. They did not, however, travel the road to greatness by themselves. The Aztecs were aware of the importance of partnerships. They joined forces with the city-states of Texcoco and Tlacopan to establish the Triple Alliance, a potent alliance. This partnership was more than just a political agreement. It was a pact of strength and help from one another that would determine their future. The growth of Tenochtitlan and the beginning of an empire that would have a lasting impact on history were unimaginable to the Aztecs as they cared for their young metropolis and increased their authority. The Aztecs were ambitious individuals with a constant thirst for conquest. Conquests that would have a lasting impact on Mesoamerican history were left in their wake. At the heart of the Aztecs' success was their remarkable military prowess. They were strong fighters who had received combat training since they were children. The famed eagle and jaguar warriors, whose prowess and courage on the battlefield were unrivaled, were among these warriors. The Aztecs were not only skilled warriors, but also keen strategists. They carefully considered their military tactics, including surprise, discipline, and flexibility. To win conflicts, they used strategies including ambushes, flanking attacks, and psychological warfare. The Aztec Empire ruled the surrounding city-states as it expanded. The Aztecs were skilled at enslaving other cultures and often demanded tribute in the shape of products, materials, and even captured individuals. The Aztec Empire gained significant money and power because of this tribute system. One by one, nearby city-states either fell to the Aztecs in warfare or united with them out of terror. The empire's influence spanned large lands and a variety of cultural traditions. The Aztecs were experts in assimilating other civilizations' components into their own, further expanding their society. The Aztecs went from being a small band of immigrants to being a powerful force in Mesoamerica thanks to their unrelenting expansion and military prowess. They paved the way for a future of victories and difficulties with their road of conquest, which was both terrible and inspirational. A distinct social structure and a strongly religious culture coexisted to form a sophisticated and tradition-rich civilization under the Aztec Empire. Aztec civilization was fundamentally a theocracy, in which religious ideals and practices significantly influenced day-to-day affairs. The Aztecs had a pantheon of gods, each with particular duties and functions. The foremost among them was Huitzilopochtli, the deity of battle and the sun, who was essential to Aztec thinking. The emperor had the highest position in this theocratic society. He was not just the head of state, but also the high priest in charge of key religious rituals and sacrifices to the gods. The emperor was revered as a heavenly being and the god's earthly incarnation. The aristocracy, a privileged group that comprised nobles, priests, and military commanders, was below the emperor. They had enormous riches and status, often residing in lavish palaces and exercising considerable power within Aztec culture. Beneath the nobility were the commoners, who comprised most of the population. They comprised workers, farmers, artisans, and merchants. Despite having a lower social rank, commoners were essential to the empire's operation since they supported commerce, agriculture, and the economy as a whole. Aztec culture was deeply intertwined with their religious beliefs. They were talented artists who created exquisite fabrics, jewelry, and ceramics. Their love of the gods was reflected in their art, which often included mythical themes and deities. The Aztecs were skilled builders who built magnificent temples and stupendous pyramids to honor their gods. Every element of life was influenced by religion, from little celebrations to everyday routines. They saw human sacrifice as a fundamental part of their religious traditions, a method to please the gods and protect their culture. This procedure was a contentious custom as well as a serious responsibility. The Aztec civilization flourished in this world of gods and humans, led by a strong spiritual bond that influenced their politics, art, and culture. It was a world where supernatural and natural forces coexisted, creating the conditions for a distinct and long-lasting society. The Aztecs were experts in organizing society and building riches. Their power covered a wide area, and they enforced a system of tribute that provided Tenochtitlan immense wealth. Precious metals, fabrics, unusual products, and food from the surrounding areas were brought into the city as tribute. The adept merchants of the Aztecs promoted a thriving market economy. Tlatelolco, the principal market, was a site brimming with merchandise from every empire region. Here, merchants traded and bartered their goods, becoming a thriving commercial center. The Aztecs cherished a civilization that flourished like the verdant gardens of their floating chinampas in the middle of their vast empire. Their codices, beautifully illustrated manuscripts, recorded their civilization's history, customs, and wisdom. These codices were, in and of themselves, works of art, painstakingly produced by scribes who managed to capture the spirit of Aztec society. Poems and literature also played a significant role in Aztec civilization. They composed epic poetry and melodies, often performed at ceremonial events and large assemblies. These writings provide perceptions of their worldview, history, and beliefs. The skillful artisans of the Aztec civilization produced beautiful ceramics, textiles, and jewelry. Their artwork portrayed their gods, heroes, and legends, and was laced with religious symbolism. Their lives were decorated by this artistry, which also demonstrated their originality. Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire at its height, was more than simply a metropolis. It represented the empire's political strength, economic might, and cultural vitality. An era of thriving culture and unfathomable richness, it was a period of unparalleled grandeur in the history of the Aztec Empire. Let's now discuss a significant modification. In 1519, Hernán Cortés made his way to the land of the Aztecs. He was from Spain, a far-off country. Hernán Cortés had a great desire and traveled to the New World for money and adventure. Cortés came with company. He developed friendships with certain locals, including the Tlaxcalans. These Tlaxcalans joined Cortés because they had reasons to despise the Aztecs. They united to form a powerful force. It's crucial to understand that the Spanish had certain unique characteristics. The Aztecs had never seen such deadly weaponry as their firearms and cannons. Additionally, they possessed horses similar to large, swift creatures that the Aztecs lacked. The Spanish had a significant advantage against the Aztecs thanks to these advantages. Diseases like smallpox were introduced by the Spanish when they came and were devastating. The Aztecs had no defenses against these illnesses since they were unfamiliar. Smallpox spread rapidly, resulting in horrific illness and fatalities. It was similar to a silent adversary that undermined and exposed the Aztec people. There were issues inside the Aztec Empire. Leaders sometimes quarreled with one another and debated who should be in command. These conflicts reduced the empire's capacity for decision-making and action. Not all of the areas that the Aztecs had conquered were pleased. Some of them became weary of being ruled by the Aztecs and desired freedom. The difficulties the Aztecs encountered were exacerbated by their dissatisfaction. The Aztec Empire encountered more and more issues as time went on. Internal conflicts, unsatisfied cities, and the devastation of illnesses eroded their resolve. The once powerful kingdom started to wane, and things seemed bleak for it in the future. Remembering that the Aztecs faced a pivotal time as the tale drew close is crucial. In 1521, Tenochtitlan was besieged by the Spanish and their native allies. There was a lot of anxiety and stress at this time. During this siege, the once powerful city of Tenochtitlan, with its splendor and rich history, was destroyed. The loss of their capital city and the subsequent fall of their empire was a tragic moment for the Aztecs. The victory went to the Spanish. Now let's reflect on what remains from this incredible story. The legacy of the Aztec civilization still echoes in modern Mexico. The nation's identity has been shaped by its culture, art, and customs. Today, we may visit archaeological sites and witness the old Aztec ruins, which remind us of this fascinating people's illustrious history. We may learn about the complexity of history and the lasting effects of great civilizations from the emergence and collapse of the Aztec Empire. This story reminds us that even in the face of great challenges and change, the echoes of the past continue to shape our present and future. That is all for this video. We'll be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time!